Welcome to Coming In Hot. Thank you live from Airplay Beats for the intro music. We are recording live from Darling New Media Studios in Midtown Sac. All right. And I always start this off with saying that we have a very special guest, but we do have the specialist. We got the specialist in the building. We got the co-owner of Flamingo House in Darling, Aviary. But this guy, I met him about a month ago, and he continues on a daily basis to just change the game. Whatever he has his hands in is going to be what everybody else is going to do afterwards. If you don't know who I'm talking about, we're talking about Amadeu Goncalves. What up, Dayu?
What's up, Cecil? How you doing, man? Thank you so much. I felt like a pro wrestler.
Hey, man, that's what I do. You know what I mean? Like, you got to get you pumped up to come on Coming In Hot. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't just going to give you no regular ass entrance.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Hey, so we're going to start back, like just, are you from Sac? Like, how you know, like where are you from in Sac?
Yeah, from Sac, man. My parents are both from immigrant families. My dad's from Cape Verdean background. My mom Mexicana. They both met in Sac. They both grew up around like kind of Franklin Fruit Ridge area.
Okay.
A
humble beginning for Amadeu. Okay.
Yeah, man, just grinding. My mom cut hair. My dad, correction officer, and they just kind of moved out to Elk Grove. Ended up transferring on Elk Grove when Elk Grove still got a solid football squad, but it was like golden years, late '90s, early 2000s, and so they transferred me out there. And back then, you could transfer out there if you took a FFA. So my best friend Marcus Riley, he ended up playing at Fresno, doing some big things on the field. I was too damn small. And,
aren't we all, man? I was a basketball player. I was a power forward, but as soon as college hit, I was like, yeah, I don't know if I got it in me.
I got to find something else. Okay.
Yep.
And man. So went out to high school out there. Spent most of my 20s kind of roaming around, lived in Mexico, doing a lot of like hitchhiking in South America. I just kind of turned nomad for a while, and always.
So what made you do that? Like, what got you to you went to Laguna, right?
I ended up going to Elk Grove.
Oh, so, you went to Elk Grove, okay.
Yeah, went out to Elk Grove High.
And then from Elk Grove, hey, the football thing ain't gonna work for me. What made you just be like, fuck it, I'm gonna go put a backpack on, because that's adventurous. There's nothing that just regular people do. What was that decision, and what made you do it?
Man, I think I got a little partial scholarship to go up to Linfield College and play football after Elk Grove, and knocked myself out one too many times. This is before all the CTE stuff, which is super helpful. And I'm glad I was like thinking like, man, this isn't right. Like I shouldn't be
dizzy when you wake up.
Like third concussion by 20.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't feel right. So I hung up the pads and transferred to Sac State. And I think that transition was like, damn, this like defined me as a kid. It was like football or sports usually is like that ticket into college. Like if you're good enough, then this is the way you can get in, and this is the way you can get education. But still, the idea of education was a little still kind of this abstract thing, because in high school you're just trying to get good enough grades so you could play on the team.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like the question isn't like to excel, for me at least. I mean, everybody around me wanted me to, but I think that like football was kind of the identity of how I looked at myself, and to lose that was like, it was a beautiful thing in a sense, because I was like, you know what, I just got to dip. And I went to go study in Mexico for a year, and then that just gave me the bug. And then after that, moved back for a little bit, and then there was it was an ad on like, maybe it was even, I don't think it was MySpace. I don't know if it was that long ago, but maybe Facebook, and for a one-way ticket to Buenos Aires. And I had just watched the movie Motorcycle Diaries, one of my favorite movies, top five, story of like young Che Guevara. And it's just a beautiful movie, Motorcycle Diaries, with Gael Garcia, one of his early movies.
Okay.
And it's beautiful. Him and his best friend, they end up, it's based on true story. They get on a motorcycle and try to drive around the continent of South America, essentially. And that was just like the craziest thing to me, that I was like, could I just maybe hitchhike it? I don't know. My mom wanted to kill me, and bought the ticket for a week later. And next, I was, in like Patagonia, thinking, all right, now I just got to keep going up, and just kept getting rides and jumping on buses, and made my way. It took a while, but made it back to SAC. And then,
how long were you gone for?
Shoot, man, Mexico for probably a year and a half. And then I came back real quick and went down. It was probably like almost a year traveling,
Okay.
just little by little. It was before. Now it's a little bit easier, I think, with like with smartphones and stuff, because this was like 2000. I mean, 8 something. It wasn't as, you still going to internet cafes, and there wasn't like the whole network of like kind of backpacking now. It's a lot better now, especially in some regions.
Like you have MapQuest, like is that kind of how you got around?
Not even, man, just asking people. And I mean,
okay.
I got some hairy situations. I got really sick, man. I stayed in the Amazon for a couple months with a tribe to just it was some dude just told me, hey man, you talk to so and so, and then so and so, and he'll give you a ride, and then 3 days later you'll be in it was called shoot, I forgot the name, but it was outside of, it was used La Paz, Bolivia as the jump to get into Runabaque or something like that in the Amazon in Bolivia, and got super sick out there, actually trying some chicken that I knew was bad for sure. For sure. I was like, I'm like, this is not good. Like I should be dipping into this. But out of respect, I was the visitor, and
gotta eat it.
Went in for it and came back, and I was sick after I got back to SAC for like a year. It was crazy.
Oh wow.
Oh wow, man. I got a bunch of crazy stuff happened down there. But that really kind of opened up my spirit, and kind of tapping into that, change, just having football be my identity. And then kind of thrown into like 2.5 years of just trying to figure it out, and realizing, man, it's probably better that I figure out what I don't want to do, rather than like deal with the pressure of picking that one thing that is me. You know what I mean? I think sometimes kids, we teach our youth, and we're socially programmed to like, hey, what's your thing? And it's like, sometimes that's like a lot of pressure for somebody who doesn't know, or maybe has a bunch of things, And that's when I kind of at that moment really found out, all right, I'm gonna do my shit. I'm gonna do something that I enjoy. It's not always gonna be roses and fluffy comfortableness, you know what I mean? But sometimes it's raw, and sometimes that's needed to kind of like figure out what the hell you want to do next. And that was like that transition.
So what were you looking for? Or were you just like, I'm just gonna, like, I don't want to be a football player. I don't want to be known for that. Like, I'm just gonna bounce it. There was nothing that you're looking for. You're gone for a minute. You're gone, what, 2.5 years?
Yeah. In total, probably about that much. Yeah. And then I wasn't really looking for anything, man. I just, I was trying the things that I liked. I got a job as like a real estate agent in Mexico for a year. And then I worked at a restaurant down there, and just, I was like, at one point I was like, man, this is great. I just have flip-flops, shorts, and a shirt. This is like the 3 things I wear every day.
Yeah.
And like, I was grinding, but it was just nice to just dip and it kind of have that reset. And then when I came back, it was like, I just really, really remembered how much I loved growing up in SAC, and how proud I was of the progress that had been made, around that time. And Mayor Johnson was actually just starting to really get some traction in SAC, and came back, had a couple odd end jobs, and all of a sudden he called me one day. I was volunteering for him, and I swear it was a prank call. I think I maybe hung up twice. Like, I thought my cousins were prank calling me, like, hey, this is the mayor.
So wait. So you come back to Sac, you know, you on your deathbed pretty much
Yeah.
for a year, and then you start volunteering for Mayor Johnson, and he just boom calls you out of the blue.
Yeah. I think he maybe saw me running around, maybe saw a sense of, my panic to want to maybe do a good job and figure out what I was doing. And I was bar backing at Dive Bar. It was Dive Bar, District 30, Pizza Rock opened up. I mean, yeah, this is a little bit after. Yeah. So, because I remember where I was in the hallway and I was taking some cups to go get washed, and my phone just keeps getting blown up by this private number. I'm like, what the hell? Pick it up. Hey, this is Mayor Johnson. And immediately I just hung up. I was like, this is crazy. I was like, there's no way. These are my cousins. I'm like volunteering just to think. 'Cause I was thinking maybe I want to go to law school. I was really into education at that time. I was really starting to appreciate education at that time. From that point going forward. Because once football was stripped, it was like, man, I got to learn something. Otherwise, they're gonna kick me out. I've got that bargaining chip. So something happened. I think he heard that I was working a bunch of jobs, and I maybe was just as crazy as him in the sense of like not sleeping and just moving. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. But he saw something in me, and I was really appreciative that he called me back after that. He's like, hey man, this is Kevin. Just don't hang up. Like, kind of like, hey, are you there? I'm like, damn. And at that moment, I'm like, my face, you get caught doing something as a kid or something, your face gets hot. Actually, your skin starts to get hot, like tingling. I was like, ah, shit.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, this is him. I'm trying to lock it up. And he goes, yeah, can we get a coffee tomorrow? I go, yeah, sure. Next, we're walking to Old Soul over there on Broadway, Oak Park, and walks me right into meet him there and walking to Underground Books, and it's his wife Michelle Ree, his mom, and it was just like, hey, how you doing? We want to know about you. And I'm just like, oh shit, I was not ready for this. I was washing dishes last night, and now I'm sitting there with Mayor Johnson wanted to know about me and wanted to offer me a job. It was surreal. It just didn't make sense.
I'll tell you what he saw in you. I always tell my managers, I go off of movements, and there's only certain moves that chefs know, or like really good cooks. They could never have worked in a restaurant before, but I could walk into a kitchen and be like, keep an eye on this guy. And it's usually like my next supervisor or manager, just because I know like there's a certain movement that cooks do. And like just the way they're like kind of just meticulous about the movement. Him being an athlete, you being an athlete, maybe he saw that hustle in you and that movement in you that just kind of clicked with him, Yeah. So maybe that was it. I'm just kind of shooting the shit, like, I don't know, maybe that was it.
Yeah. And funny you said like just the athlete thing. I was actually interviewing a really nice young guy yesterday, and that's one of the questions I usually ask people is, hey, have you ever played sports? It's not like you got to be a collegiate athlete, pro athlete, but there is, like you said, like the movement. There's a certain thing that athletes are going to look out for, especially like team sports and stuff. There's a certain intensity that's kind of commonly understood with like, hey man, get your fucking man. You know what I mean? It's not disrespectful. And it's not like necessarily a hierarchy, like power move. It's like, yo, come on, like you do your thing, I'm gonna do my thing, and we do our thing. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
There's an understanding.
Yeah.
So yeah, he took me in, and I mean, worked a bunch of different jobs. I mean, working for that office was incredible.
We need to finish what that conversation was when you walked into Underground Books. I'm sorry I interrupted you. I just had the thought. But no, we gotta have this conversation. When you walked in, you got the mayor, you got his moms, you got his wife. Your face probably burning up hot again. You probably...
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like what? And yeah, it's just, you just want to know about me, and said, hey, we got this position that was going to be for his next campaign run, to help with like the fundraising team, and go to like these fundraising dinners, and help set them up. And then that kind of just spun into like a bunch of different responsibilities, and anything from like kind of more for me at that level, high level stuff, reviewing like, I don't know, a speech or whatever, it's like kind of substantively important. I'm like, what the hell? To like, hey man, like I'll run and go get lunch for the office. Like it was just like everything. And but that conversation was really, it was really cool. I was trying to figure out what the goal was. I was like, man, first is the coffee. Now I'm meeting you, mom,
Yeah.
and soon to be wife. And I was reading about her actually, with Teach for America, and there's a big charter school movement, just everything. She was doing a bunch of really good stuff at that time. And so I was like, man, this is crazy. Like I was just reading about you being involved in, like, I think it was education stuff in DC. And it's like, now you're here, being from SAC. The one interaction that I had with Mayor Johnson, and I remember crystal like clear, is my dad came home one day and picked up my cousins and I, and he all bought us a Spalding rubber basketball, just at like, Payless or whatever. And we went to Hoop It Up, and the Hoop It Up was at William Land Park, and it was cracking. I mean, I was like, what? As a
Yeah.
little kid, I'm like, guys are dunking on real hoops. Like, what happened?
Yeah.
And sure enough, my dad was like, hey, that's KJ. Run and grab him. And he just told me, like, looked at me like, get to him. And there's a bunch of people around. So I'm a little kid. I'm ducking and diving through this crowd with the ball. And I swear it was like my last ditch effort. And I saw the back of his shirt, and I just like grabbed it and pretty much like pulled him back. And I'll never forget, turn around and looked at me super intense, because he probably, who's yanking on my shirt? He looked at me, and I think he just saw like my big ass head and big eyes. Just like, he turned around, man, and his face lit up, and he signed it. And my two other cousins ran up. He grabbed their ball, signed it. I still got that ball to this day. And
Nice.
for me, it was like, that was the only interaction. It's it's like a hometown hero. So
did you tell him about that?
You know what? It was crazy. The first time we did a fundraiser, we did it in DC actually. And I got to fly out there with them, and help out with that. And I mean, it's just wild. Like, I just remember just being like, what the heck? Like, some of these guys, I want to say it was like Cory Booker, like a bunch of like people that are now making moves and stuff. I want to say we're in email threads, and I think we're actually there. It was just bizarre. I was at this Chinese food restaurant type place in DC. We're outside waiting for the ride to come pick us up after it's all over. And not to sound too dramatic, but it's like kind of raining. I was like, hey, Mayor, because he's moving. There's not a lot of like, hey, like, what did you do for fun as a kid? He's got some like stories, right?
Yeah.
That are just amazing and super inspiring. But we're, it's work mode, and we're waiting for the car to pick us up. And that's when I told him, I was like, hey man, I got to tell him this story. I was like, hey, it's crazy me working for you, because this is blah, blah, blah. Is what happened at Hoop It Up. And he was like, he didn't, I don't know if he remembered it or not, but was like, damn, that's crazy. And come to find out, he grew up with some of my Theos, and there's all these like connections in SAC. And it was one of those things where it's like, you can tell, maybe when somebody knows your family, they're like, okay, I know your core. I know,
yeah,
like, and you got that eye, you want to hustle with me. And it was good. It was a good run. And he's always been super supportive. And that position with him was awesome, man. Like, it was just so much craziness, and so much like just a high level of execution and sharpness, and like preparedness for everything that he went. It was just straight up game day. And everybody at that office was like super inspiring. And a lot of that core is still together today. Now just beasting on a bunch of other stuff, developing Oak Park, and of course his restaurants and all those. It's beautiful to see. So it was cool.
Nah, it's cool for, what he does, for the Oak Park community and Sacramento in general. Nothing but respect for what he does in the community for sure. So is this so, all right? Because you went to law school, and we talked about this, just the first time we met. How did you get from Mayor Johnson? Did you have to go to college, or were you already graduated from college when you were with Mayor Johnson, and then you went to law school, or was it college, mayor, law school, or mayor, college, law school?
It was I finished at Sac State. I ended up wrapping up at Sac State with the major international relations and Spanish, and then worked for mayor. And then I was always thinking, education and law. I just intellectually, that's like stimulating to me. You know what I mean? And like just very important from like perspective as a young Latino male, and I just start to make the connections, like dang, like how do we really change things, and really the long game is, in my opinion, just education and understanding the law and the dynamics, and understanding also it's not like this crazy impossible thing to like wrap your mind around. And I think there's a lot of gatekeepers out there that make these topics seem very intimidating, and as in our community is like minorities especially too, it's like, oh man, like you got to be extra smart to do that, or I had that barrier in my brain. So I think working with him and seeing what's possible and seeing that high level of intensity and like focus. We even had a conversation at one time, and he was very instrumental in kind of guiding me that direction, and went to McGeorge right down the street from where I had that first meeting with him at Old Soul in Oak Park.
Yeah.
Graduated and did a specialization in trial advocacy and appellate work. Got a great job at a firm in town, and they were awesome. It's called Dryer Babbage. They do a bunch of cool stuff, and
I used to do caterings for them.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
oh.
I was at Bella Brew, and we used to do their annual Christmas catering. Small world.
Oh man, that's really crazy. Yeah, we're first Campora over there. He's the man. And that was a whole nother. It was I saw similarities between like Mayor Johnson and him. Just that high level of focus, and I'm just like, all right, like kind of kicked me into gear. And so when I graduated law school, it was I was like, man, the substantively, intellectually stimulating, but like I started realizing, the process of my day is what is important to me. I need to be switching it up throughout one day. I can't like just have one destination. So I think that's where the wheels started turning again of like, okay, this is cool. This is something that I enjoy, but I don't want to do that. Like I'm checking off things that like, all right, I know I don't want a job that's going to make me report to a desk every day. I know I don't want that. Now, what do I want yet? I don't know, and that's when I kept, kind of kept moving and shaking. And I think a pivotal moment for me is kind of when I've had these moments of like, what do I do next? Was soon after I went to Cape Verde Islands, where my dad's side is from, and just saved and just grinded like throughout law school. I worked 3 jobs. I mean, I worked at that firm full time during the day, and then I bartended at Dive Bar at night. And then I got a little gig through the property management company to like clean the apartment complex that I lived in for like half off rent. So I was grinding, just stacking. I knew once law school stuff was over, I wanted to head to Cape Verde Islands and try to reconnect with the family that my dad lost track of in probably like the 70s or something, 60s.
What is it? Cape Verde?
Cape, like Cabo, so or it's CAPE. And
Cape, okay.
Verde, like Verde.
Okay, Verde, okay.
Verde, yeah.
Okay.
Right off the coast of Senegal.
Okay.
And my family's from the island of Brava.
Okay. And so Your life is all over the place, man. So, so you're doing in the morning you're doing the law. At night you're doing the bartending at dive bar, and then you're cleaning. You're the maintenance man at your apartment complex.
Yeah, it was crazy,
So
man.
you really don't like sleeping. Okay, I got you. We established that. All right.
I enjoy it now. Now that the years are catching up, I'm like,
Me
now
too, man.
I'm really counting and trying to get them in, man, because it definitely had an effect on, like, just your overall happiness and the consistency, like, is good sleep, So I know
10 years ago, I was the first guy to tell you I'll sleep when I die. I was that guy. Yeah. Not anymore.
Yeah.
I gotta get at least 6 in.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm getting there. I'm getting there for sure.
So
yeah,
we were going from, so you got these 3 jobs where it's taking up probably about 20 hours of your day. And then you're like, fuck it. Here's, this business opportunity at, in the middle of K and 24th. Like, well, how did you get to it's a house. It's an actual house.
Yeah.
So, and that's all. I'm not even going to get into the permit part of how you guys got this house to be a bar, but how did you get from law school to the Flamingo house?
Yeah, so a real kind of quick shift was, when law school ended, I took that trip, went out to Cape Islands for a couple months and had some like just amazing pivotal moments where I was able to like find the house where my dad's family's from, and family still lived there, which was crazy. I've got this picture of like 19, I think it was like in the 50s, with my great grandmother in front of the house. And then now I'm in front of it for real. And I'm the first one in my generation to go back.
Wow.
Went back solo, just kind of asked around. And anyway, so it was a beautiful trip. And when I came back, my good friend and now business partner, Matthew Bird, he was like, yo, man, let's go get lunch. Let's talk about this crazy trip you went on. Because we worked together when I came back from South America. So he's like, man, I got something crazy happened. Like, let's go get lunch and talk some shit. And we went to Fromoli's. Actually, shout out Emil.
Yeah, Emil, shout out.
And we got some lunch over there. And I was telling him about the trip and just how I was just wanted to put a pause on deciding to like work full time in law and just try to figure it out. And it really started with him being like, yo, let me go show you something. Because him, my other partner, Bobby, and Christian, they already had the ball rolling for a few months on it. And he said, let me show you something. I'm like, yeah, we went over there and it looked like shit. It looked like shit inside. I was just like, damn, this is dope, but how y'all gonna get this together? And I was like, man, this is crazy. It was cold. I swear it felt haunted. It was right after lunch. Yeah, we went and go check it out. And he was like, we kept just kind of talking about it. And that's when he was like, hey, man, you want to come through and help just paint? And then we just started, rapping. And I was like, man, I really need somebody that I could trust to like help with the bar program. I was like, yeah, man, let's do it. Like, I'm still trying to figure stuff out. And then just kind of like with the mayor's office, just kind of like just rolled, and next, helped build it as a co-founder and became director of operations. And then we had the chance for Darling Aviary when we were about 2 years into Flamingo, or a year and a half.
So who came to you with that Darling Aviary project, or was it just, did they see Flamingo House? Like, I don't know who the developers down on your end is, but what was did somebody come to you guys and like, hey, we like what you're doing in Midtown. Can you bring it to Doco?
Exactly.
Okay.
That's exactly what happened. DNS, Bay Miri over there, he approached us, said, hey, man, I've kind of made contact with all you separately through different different ways over the past years. And now I see you guys all together on this project, and it's taken off. And Flamingo was just purring at that time and doing an amazing job.
Mm-hmm.
Our staff just killed it, and we were able to kind of have this cool little cultural shift, and like develop a nice little area, and like help add to the area of 24th and K. And so yeah, he approached us, said, "Hey man, why don't you check out this spot?" And we went to go look at it. And I was like, I'm sure you too see. So you're always thinking, right? Like, if you're in your restaurant, or you're maybe having a beer, like you're always thinking about different concepts and
Yeah.
formats, and so we're always, man, wouldn't that be cool to have this or that? And there's all these separate conversations. Once we saw the layout of what is now Darling Aviary, we're like, oh, we got to go with the Aviary concept and theme. And then all the brains come together. We have
Mm-hmm.
a bunch of different personalities in our partnership, and they really came together and just came up with this crazy idea, and we got to work. And then now it's we opened in October in the heat of COVID, which is crazy. And really tried to do it delicately so we can keep people safe. And it was a year that I think beat us all up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Also, to look back and be like, okay, well, had Flamingo House survive through this trying time. And then
Mm-hmm.
we were also able to open up the project that we started working on before COVID, which is crazy because a lot of people are like, why would you do that during COVID? It's like, that was not the plan at all. It was not the plan at all.
Me neither, man.
Right?
And I opened too.
Crazy. It's like, when you opened up too, especially during that time, you're like, yay. Like,
yeah.
It's very anticlimactic.
Yeah, he just like, yay, and like, how do I keep everybody separated?
It's just like, we got PTSD still from it, man.
Yeah.
But it was like to see, especially see certain businesses make it through that, has been special. And for us, it's been really special, and like kind of a lighthearted story, which is, I'm dead serious. Like, you go through a bunch of like, ups and downs, and there's personal stuff, there's business stuff, there's bringing employees together is like,
mm-hmm.
As a family, and having that tight knit crew that we started off with, and we still strive to have. It's a lot of work, right? Sometimes it's easier just to like, block people off, and you know what I'm saying, and just, we sell this, we get money for this, and keep it very, but that's just work that way. We want to have personality and like respect other, folks as like human, man, and like we're all getting through this. So anyway, that having that culture was really instrumental in like getting us through the pandemic. And but when we across like some like just really shitty times, I would always, dead serious, when I thought about doing it, I just, lawyer mode kicked in before we even started Flamingo, for just my personal decision on whether to really go in on it. I wrote, I'd say 20 pages of like all the potential outcomes, right? Mm-hmm. And dead serious. I went ham to the point where like my partner sometimes like, yo, it just stop. This and that, this and that. You know what I mean? And the two, really the two things I came up with was like, what I was looking for is the way we fail. Like, how do we fail at this? Like, what are the real threats? And number one was just our egos. You know what I mean? Not only as partners, but as a collective, unit. It's like, if we, make sure to just keep an eye on the ego and make sure to like remove as much of that from any problem solving, usually you could figure a problem out. You know what I mean? So one was like, the one way we fail is because of us. Mm-hmm. And number two, and I would always say it lightheartedly at the end of a meeting, like always, like, number two, like global catastrophe, like a pandemic, but like, what are the chances? And everybody would like laugh, right? Mm-hmm. And this is like 4 years ago, like mm-hmm. years before a pandemic, and I always end it with like, yeah, it's just, we beat us, or like a pandemic, but like, what are the chances? And everybody would laugh. And right when this happened, a couple of my partners were like, get the hell away from me, man. Get the hell away from me. Stop talking. You're making these predictions and shit. You know what I mean? It was just a trip to like, it was kind of funny, but not. It was like, oh shit.
Did you put pandemic in your business plan?
not a pandemic. It was global catastrophe. For example, like this, like that, like a pandemic, like it was like
wow.
That's the only way. Like
yeah,
economic collapse, like attached to like all this other stuff. And not getting that dark world, but I was genuinely like, how do we fail? Like really? You know? Everything else was like, that's why I was so confident. I think we all were confident on it because it was like everything else was like fixable. Like so like let's do it. Why not? It would be silly for us not to do this. So yeah, it's been a wild ride, man. And now we're moving along and seeing out of this shit.
Yeah, man. So we got you're all over the place. You're just like me, man. So we got the Flamingo house.
Or something like just timeline.
Yeah, you got Darling Aviary, and then pandemic. You open up during the pandemic, and now you got this movie adapting history. Where did this come about from? Like, and where did you have the time to even do this? Because I'm sure you still got you still cleaning, you maintenance guy somewhere. I got a feeling that you still a maintenance guy somewhere too, on top of being a lawyer, bartender, owner of 2 different bars / restaurants, and now you do. And this is, like, we might be laughing right now, but before we came on, I told you how important I think this video is. So tell us a little bit about adapting history and how you started it.
Man, thank you, Cecil. I know it's my family, all the ones closest to me, because of what you just covered. They're just like, sometimes I say hi and they're like, just don't tell me there's something you're thinking about. Don't tell me, just shut up, just sit there and just look at each other. Like it's like, because sometimes it's like squirrel, but anyway, I'm really trying to these projects, I mean, they're not like just let me try that. Like, they've got feet, and Flamingo House is rolling, Aviary rolling, and this new project that really my partner on the project, Dalak Brathwaite, really good friend of mine. We've known each other since childhood and really became close. He's a UC Davis alum, talented, amazing poet, actor, rapper, producer. I mean, he's just crazy.
So this is the guy that was acting in the movie.
Exactly. He plays all the roles in the movie.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So he's just been killing it. And he's somebody that, we've really, over the years, all the time we come together and go on a hike or like just talk, man, and talk ideas and talk like more, high level, not high level, like to sound bougie, but like zoomed out stuff. Like what are we doing? What are you doing? What's our goals? Like what, you know what I mean? Like how do we like maneuver and like manipulate some of these variables in business and education? And, he's got his world of the arts and mine's more in, has been more in like business and law. And I think both of us really share that passion for education and seeing how important it is to share, share the information and help one another tell our stories,
Mm-hmm.
And one of those things that we always talk about is definitely like a lot of things connected to like socioeconomic positioning and development, and like he was like on Def Poets when we were kids, Most Def, and just killed it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like crazy talented. So we were hiking one day, man, and he's like, yo, we start talking about, just the usual. Yeah, all the that I just referenced. And he's like, yo, he just got at that time, it was 2 years ago, he got a full ride to NYU to become a composer. He's like,
okay,
told me this, like dropped this on me, like, yeah, by the way, just like, what? That's crazy. Like young brother from Sacramento now going to NYU on a full ride to become a composer. Like what? Like why are you this sleeper cell? Like
mm-hmm.
let's talk about it, man.
Yeah.
And he's just so humble. And anyway, so he said, yeah, man, we started talking. He's like, yeah, well, damn, I got this grant to do some type of educational like program, because as an artist he's been really he'll get a grant and then he'll perform in a city or state, fulfill all these like art grants, and that's how he's made a living, and along with doing different shows and spoken word shows and all the above anyway. So yeah, there's this grant. I mean, and then our brains started rolling. We're like, yo, well, shoot, worst case scenario, this is a grant that we can use to help us uh, go to West Africa and research the origin of percussion and bring it together with a piece that he had developed called Adapting History, that was like kind of mixed with his personal narrative, but also these educational pieces that are very connected to substance abuse, prison reform, like all these things that really affect mostly folks of color and people in underserved communities.
Mm-hmm.
It's a beautiful piece. And anyway, we kind of melded the two. So we went out. One, I kind of thought like, man, we could use, we use Flamingo House, we use the establishments to maybe get some of these liquor companies to bring, to bring some resources so we could raise money and create a really dope project. So it started off with a little bit of dough from this really cool nonprofit out in New York. The Mondavi Center, UC Davis, jumped on and said, "We love it. We'll do a presenting partnership with the Mondavi." The Montalvo School of Arts in the Bay was like, "Yo, we are down." So we were able to raise some money. We made a pact with each other that, hey, man, until we provide a polished dope project, like we're gonna put everything into it. Everything we raise, everything needs to get into it, because people are expecting a $5,000 project. But if we
Mm-hmm.
bring our resources together, get creative, and use Flamingo House, use Darling Aviary, leverage some of those relationships that I have in the alcohol world, and say, hey, alcohol people, do you care about education?
Yeah.
Like trying to fill those too, and bring them, put pressure on one another to like do dope shit. So
Mm-hmm.
uh, a lot of them were very supportive. So anyway, long story short, we flew out to Senegal, and shout out to PPS. He's like the young like beast hip hop like grandfather out there, and we met him at Dakar, and he just plugged us on learning about so much stuff, especially with in relation to percussion and how it was really, given roots and spirit in West Africa. And
Mm-hmm.
went to Cape Verde Islands, and where my pop side is from, and there's a family called the Alino family that took me in the first time I was there, and they got music connections. So all of a sudden, it was just there was all these music connections
Nice.
and music and education. So we went out there and just gathered so much information, brought it back, and then we were like, okay, cool. Now we got to write this play. And originally it was a playwright that got disrupted by COVID, because it's like, okay, if we write a play and Dalek, he writes it and composes and performs. We can't do it at the Mondavi for kids. So initially we're like, man, do we do like some Dave Chappelle shit and do it at a farm, or like, thinking about everything. And him and I have always talked in these conversations that we're always having every now and then on hikes and just all over the phone, like about making a movie or something. He's like, yo, why don't we just do it? Like
Yeah.
try to turn it into something. So we it was really dope. The Guild Theater pretty much donated the whole theater space to us for a month.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Dalek made some changes in the playwright to make it into an educational film. And essentially, what we're doing in this educational film is using history to teach music and music to teach history. And we
Mm.
want to let kids know, um, and actually young adults and like older adults. I mean, see, so I'm so glad you got a chance to see it, because you see like how it has nods to like very like childish stuff,
Yeah.
very innocent, but then also we don't want to sell our youth short and
Mm-hmm.
expect too little from them. Like they should be able to deal with some layers.
Yeah.
So we also try to like, there's some stuff that would be maybe considered more adult type of learning, that is met with that like kind of childlike approach in some parts of the movie.
Yeah. I think it's educational on the part where, you know, like my 14-year-old son needs to see it. You know what I mean? Like I hope, you know, I'm gonna sit down with my daughter and show it to her as well. She's 5. But I think that, you know, in this world of, you know, cell phones and internets, you know, like the educational system, they get away with, you know, like, all right, this is, you know, they're still doing the same shit in school that we, you know, there's some things like harassment and bullying they take on, you know, a little bit earlier, you know, and, you know, like telling versus tattling, that kind of stuff. But there's still like a divide between, you know, like the history and like why Black people and Hispanics are really here in America. You know what I mean? Like it's still, you know, when I show my son, he's probably gonna be like, is this for real? You know what I mean? Because, you know, from a young age, they're on these cell phones. That's all they do. And these cell phones are geared to whatever they want. So whatever they're typing in is what they're gonna get back.
Yeah.
So it takes one of these films, and it's a powerful film, and it's short, but it's so powerful. That's all you need. You know what I mean? Like, you guys gave me all I needed to be like, oh, I'm gonna watch this on the way home too. You know, oh, and when I get home, you know, I'm gonna tell my son, hey, give me 39 minutes of your time. We're sitting down and we're watching this. You know what I mean? So not to cut this off short, but there is a trailer. I'm gonna put it in our description because I don't know how to use this Zoom thing, and I'm sorry, man, but I do have your trailer. I'm gonna put it on our coming in hot social media pages when we do post this. But there's a few things. We are doing a collab. I want you guys to tell everybody what this collab is, what we're doing. This go right ahead.
Yeah. So it's dope, because we connected on this collab, man. And now it's like there's a bunch of stuff we're sharing with one another, and that's like that's the beauty of it. And we're both on K Street, and it's this K Street collab, and we've really struck a chord at Darling Aviary with, like, you know, having a good, like, just a really good approach to this little cheeseburger menu. You know, keeping it very simple. And a lot of people, I think, are confused. They come in and it's like, oh wow, like this should be fine dining. I'm on a rooftop. This isn't usually within SAC, and they don't understand. It's like, that's not what we do. We want to set a vibe and have good music, and hopefully we can start getting people to dance and have more people here pretty soon. But anyway, so we want something like kind of cute, approachable, that you can eat. And we've been really working on this burger program, and now to like team up with you, Nash and Proper, and Cecil came in hot with some with some recipes the other day, man, and just provided us a feast and Nashified just our burger program. So we're gonna Nashify some of the burgers, Nashify some fry action, and then we took some of those delicious spices of yours and Nashified some cocktails, you know, that and some of the cocktails are kind of meant to bring down the heat and cool you off. Some like that Nashilada will spice you up for sure, man. So it's gonna be fun to bring that together, and I'm super excited.
Me too, man.
Yeah. So on the 10th.
Yeah. So we're doing it September 10th through 12th. You know, when Darling Aviary, what you guys open 4 to, you know, close pretty much. Are you gonna keep the burgers? Because you were saying that after certain hours you kind of cut off the burgers and you just do the fries and drinks. Are you gonna keep the burgers all night?
Yeah, we'll keep the burgers. I think our cutoff's gonna be like 9 or 10 p.m.
Okay.
For burgers, just to make sure, you know, it's tough staffing these days and stuff like that. We want to be able to deliver a solid product and not overextend the team and stuff. So we'll be Yeah, it'll be that Friday from 4 p.m. to 9 or 10 p.m. For the burgers. I think it'll be 9 probably. And then
Okay.
that Saturday, Sunday from 1 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Okay.
And we'll just be cranking them out, man, and building that bridge between National Proper and Darling Aviary on K Street and getting people going.
Yeah, and get, like I hope some of the other, businesses, we did DMC ice cream. We're doing Darling Aviary. I just want to get people involved. I want to get people excited about coming to the K. Just catching a vibe, knowing that, like even over the weekend, I reached out to my social media team and I'm like, we just posted something with our loaded fries, and then all of a sudden we start getting, all these DMs about everybody else's chicken fries are better. And I was like, can we just post something because we're cool with everybody, just post something. So my, Jake, he put together just a simple post, Kiki's and Nash and Proper and Hot Boys, it's all family. Like we're all in this together. This last 2 years, if you still beefing over some shit, I don't even want to be in your face or anywhere near you.
Yeah.
This shit could end like overnight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it almost did. So I'm not beefing over no hot chicken or fried chicken or anything. I just want to show as much love to everybody that I can. And Amadeu, I just want to say thank you for, just being a cool dude, man. And I think we just clicked like, I don't know if we ever met, I think when Dive Bar was around, I was either in San Francisco or I was just doing my chef shit. So I wasn't really out doing the drinking in Sacramento. I was in Roseville doing all that. But it was great to, just meet you for the first time, and just get your story. And, you got to come back though. You got to come back because we didn't even get to the games. We do top fives. We do all kinds of shit.
Man, outline. I need to stick to it.
That was the outline. If producer Ash was here, she would have been all over. She would have been like, "Hey, you gotta keep going." When she's out here, we just vibe.
Yeah. When I talk to her, sometimes I'll be going. I'm like, wait, hold that. Let me do this, and I'll come back. And then she's like, her eyes kind of go like that. I'm like, okay, sorry. Let me stop. Yeah. You get excited though, man. Thank you, Cecil, man. It's been a pleasure meeting you and working together, man. And like you genuinely, I mean, you could see, we were actually talking about the other day, like when you came through and threw down on all those recipes, and we're doing the tasting and stuff. Like there's a genuine like taste this, and like I was watching you give somebody a taste of something. It was actually Bird, and he was like, and it's like you genuinely were like it was like step back, smile, like damn, like it was, because sometimes like you bartenders or chefs or whatever, it's like, oh yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you like that? Oh yeah, cool. So that's a little something. Mm-hmm. But it was like there's a genuine like it. You can see it when somebody wants to create something for somebody and genuinely want them to enjoy it, not just give them like, oh yeah, it's cool, like just give a little pat on the back, like ceremonial pat on the back. It's like, and that shows through, man. And actually with what you're doing too, and like bringing people together, man, why is it like gotta be, everyone's competitive. We're all doing this shit because we want to be good at something, and hopefully you could be the best. But like the pettiness sometimes it's like, man, it's standing in our way as a city to develop. And sometimes it's not gonna work out. Hey man, it's not gonna work out this time, but we can come back around and work on some other shit. And that was dope, meeting each other and actually, you see it like, all right, cool, yeah, let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's try to fix it, or come back around to it next time. Shit, it's like it's not that serious. It's like
and I will get to the coming in hot portion of this, but it's always good when we could just go our separate ways, then come back and it's like, okay, you did this, and you're like, why don't you, like some people you work with, and you're like, But we talked about this. Like, what? You could have called me yesterday and I could have came back another day. But thank you for being on top of your shit. Hey, but Amadeu, at the end, I'm gonna have to tell you to keep it short, but at the end, we come in hot. It's on any topic that you want to talk about. It could be political, it could be funny, it could be food related, it could be bar related. But Amadeu, it is time to come in hot. What you got?
Man, I guess shit. What? Just go. How long do I got? 30.
You got 2 minutes. Let's say 2 minutes.
I think just right now, I want to come in hot on just everyone's approach. I think just in like social settings, at a bar, at a restaurant, just running into people at the damn gas station. It's just two things, not to get too mushy about it, but man, we just all gotta like come together and have like a sense of curiosity and a little bit of empathy, you know what I mean? And like wonder, like, what is that like? What, how does that person feel? Some empathy on like, those around us, you know what I'm saying? And not to like, we don't gotta go like, just be kumbaya all the time. Sometimes things get intense, but at the end of the day, it's like coming out of what we just came out of. Let's just do some dope shit. And when it doesn't work, like scratch it and come back again. And or if you come in and you visit a restaurant or a bar or whatever, know that people are going through some shit. Yeah. People are confused. People are like still trying to figure out whether or not shit's gonna reverse again, and we're not gonna be able to come and see each other and eat at places and shit like that. So just fucking enjoy it, man, and know that everyone's like, for the most part, trying their best. And when they're not, you can tell. You just tell them to go away for the day, man, and come back. Another
we got to do it every day on the K.
Sometimes, I got to do it to myself, myself. Put my ass on timeout for the day. Yeah. And rest and do whatever I got to do to center myself so I can give people my best, or at least, show that I'm giving my best. But I think it really starts with a sense of curiosity and empathy for one another in one another's situation. So that's me coming in hot right there, man.
That's hot. That's hot as shit. Go ahead and plug all your shit. This might be a long list, but I need get all your plugs out, all your socials, your websites, anything, everything you need to plug.
What's up? Oh, okay. We got Darling Aviary, at Darling Aviary, Instagram, Flamingo House, at Flamingo House Sac, and Adapting History. We're still working on really getting that social. We have it, but it's not as tailored as it really needs to be, because we've been dealing with how we're going to distribute it and still trying to get eyes on it and show people and put some final touches on it. But that's at Adapting History on Instagram as well. So and I'm at Amadeo_G. If anybody ever has any like questions or any like kids out there wondering like, how the hell do you do this? How the hell do you open a restaurant or make a movie and do all this shit? Nobody knows. Everybody's figuring that shit out as they go along, and I am too. So
sometimes you just gotta do it.
Yeah.
I do the same thing. I'm always at Chef C's. If you got any questions about anything, do not go to the Nash and Proper DMs, because those are late. And you can always holler at me at Chef C's, like I just said, www.nashandproper.com for those delicious, mouth-watering hot chicken sandwiches. At Nash and Proper, at nashandproper.eg, at Coming In Hot. And, just thank you for coming through, Dayu. Really appreciate you, man. Be checking out our social medias at Darling Aviary, at Nash and Proper, so you can get full details about the collab going on. Dayu, if you need any help with adapting history, like I'm here for you. I don't know what the hell I can do, but if you got some that you want us to throw up on our social media, I'm all down for that, because like I said, that needs to be seen by everybody in the world.
Thank you, Cecil.
Straight up.
Very special. Thank you, man. Thank you.
All right, man. I'll holler at you. Thanks to Live from Airplay Beach for the closeout music. Peace. We're good.
All right.